Hey everyone, welcome to another video where today I'm going to be talking about The Sims, while playing The Sims, of course. Um, just kind of, just doing a little bit of building while I kind of, share my thoughts on the most recent bit of news that we got, regarding The Sims, both Horse Ranch and Project Rene. Um, so, First off, I'm going to share my opinion on Horse Ranch, and I definitely got some words that I want to share about it because I gotta be completely honest. I think my sentiments are kind of the same as everyone. EA just waited just way too long for it to release a pack like this. Um, you know, we it probably would have been a little bit better if maybe we got the pack a little bit earlier, you know. It would have been a little bit more impactful in that sense, as opposed to have waited, 5 or 6 years after the release of um the release of Cats and Dogs, excuse me. Um, the reason why I say that is because Cats and Dogs, like when we got pets in The Sims 3, it came with horses. People would have liked to see horses, literally right after, they released like Cats and Dogs. And I'm not saying that Cats and Dogs was a bad pack in any way, but you know, I know everybody was thinking the same exact thing when Cats and Dogs were released or was announced. Are there going to be horses? When people found out that there weren't horses, they were understandably disappointed and asking, wait a minute, so are we gonna get horses or not? And I feel like we're a little bit overdue in terms of horses. I feel like the people who do want horses are the people who have been kind of like, you know for lack of a better way of putting it, just they been kind of feeding into the toxic positivity of The Sims 4. In terms of the community, of course, feeding into the toxic positivity. Um, that's a video in its entirety on, for another day. I could go on ages talking about uh how screwed up the Sims community is, especially like right now. What with the following of the you know Xbox controls being screwed up, or the Xbox, they say just the console controls being screwed up following EA's you know latest patch to the game. Um, and they're negligent as well in terms of handling this situation as well. Um, but I could go on again. I could go on for hours about that. Um. So my thoughts on Horse Ranch are that it's way too overdue. Um, it's pretty much a pack that we don't really need. If we had gotten this a lot earlier, it would have been a different story. But in my opinion, that's not even the problem right now. There are lots of other problems that we need to discuss and such, that I want to voice my concerns about the game because I got quite a bit. Um, my first concern is the the bug fixes. That's kind of the big one right now. I think we're okay in terms of you know um of bug fixes or in terms of gameplay, right? But the thing is that EA keeps on neglecting their fans and or the people that really listen and know what's wrong with the game and keep saying, "Oh, well, this is, we're going to release, more and more game packs and expansion packs and just trying to give you guys more content. We don't need more content. What we need are game fixes." In my opinion, we also need base game things as well. Do you guys want to know how many base game packs there are that we have gotten? I'm pretty sure they said that they were going to release more, but they never did. So, but we only got one base game pack, and that's it. And it's like, huh? Like you couldn't like give us any more, free content. Like, I mean, you know, what if people can't afford, you know, paying for expansion packs? Like they're just kind of stuck with nothing to do. I mean, yeah, sure, they got infants. You can argue, oh yeah, they have infants, but I mean, that's not really like gameplay. I mean, that's just another life stage. I mean, it is gameplay, yes, but I mean, what I'm trying to say is that it is at the same time, it's not anything that's like really impactful. You know what I mean? Like it's like, you know, infant as a life stage just kind of lasts like maybe a few days and then it's kind of over. And that's kind of like the really disappointing bit about it. Is that I mean, I'm not saying that infants were a bad idea. I think infants were great. I've been wanting infants and they did it perfectly. But I mean, the fact is that they the true and real gameplay for infants is locked behind a paywall. If you really want to play all the content for them, you have to like you have to buy growing together. There's no way around it. You know, it and in that sense, it's kind of like, well, you know, why am I having to pay money for an expansion pack that just gives me more gameplay with infants? I mean, I appreciate that they give it to us for free, but like, you know, it's not all the gameplay that there is, and that's kind of like the shitty bit. But you know what? I guess I'll just let it slide for now. Um, I'm going to be discussing my concerns with the horse ranch pack. Um, so I'm just gonna kind of be going off of what um I kind of saw in the behind the Sims little news live stream thing. Um Horse Ranch is a little bit questionable in my opinion. Um I've never really been that big of a fan of EA or a supporter of EA. And you may be saying, "Oh, but you play The Sims. I mean, how are you not a supporter?" And it's like, I the thing is the truth is that I haven't like I paid used to pay for packs, and then I realized, wait, they're just trying to grab money, and like stuff for free or for they're trying to farm their players. Um, and that doesn't feel right with me. The last pack I bought was Cottage Living, and since then I haven't bought Werewolves, I haven't bought High School Years, I haven't bought Growing Together, I haven't bought any of the kit packs. Because when you look at it, it's $1,000 just to spend all this money. You can buy a used car with that money, by the way. So, you know, you can go screw yourself if you think I'm gonna pay for those packs. Um, and I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad about it either, because I mean, I got them for free, and I mean, it's public access. I mean, I'm not gonna tell you where I get them from, obviously. Um, but there are methods as to where to get them and stuff like that. You know, um, and it's just like I mean, I'm not afraid to mention something like that. Um, especially on video because I mean, you know, my sentiments are like that for a lot of companies like Nintendo. Like you know, I don't think I'm going to pay for another Nintendo game because I mean, you know, uh it's a completely different story, but you know, um like I just don't think that but the long story short is that I just don't think that they deserve my money because of all the bad things that they have done and the bad business decisions that they have made. You know, um, I love their games. It's just I don't support them. It's why I pirate their games. I'm not gonna tell you how I pirate them or why I emulate them or whatever. But you know, there are methods again, and those methods aren't really that hard. Um, so I'm gonna say it right now. When this pack comes out, I'm gonna pirate it. When I try it, you know, I'm not going to watch anyone else play, and that's because I just don't think that you know it's I just don't want to support EA. That's just it. Not anymore. They've taken so much of my money, um, you know, and that's money that I can never get back because I could have spent that on so many other things. So you got me fucked up if you think I'm gonna spend any more. Um, the next part I wanted to talk about is pack division. Now, this has been a huge topic as of late. Um, and I have some concerns as well for myself. Like, why are they dividing these packs? Don't you think that maybe it would be a little bit better if we could just get packs all together? You know, neglecting the fact that they should have released Horse Ranch after Pets. Don't you think that perhaps it could have come with Pets, or it could have come with Cottage Living? I mean, granted, I know you know it. Cottage Living is more of a little bit of a different pack. It's more like you just owning a like I guess like you could say like a dairy for lack of a better way of putting it. But like the fact of the matter is that I mean, I know a lot of people were saying, "Oh, well, we're gonna get horses with this new pack and all this other stuff." I remember even thinking that we were going to get horses with Cottage Living, and we didn't, and feeling a little bit disappointed because um, it I mean, I'm not saying that Cottage Living was an awful pack. I mean, it definitely had its highlights, and it's definitely had its it's definitely a fun pack in terms of farming, because I mean granted, still I prefer my Stardew Valley over anything really, if you to be perfectly honest. I'm like, my Stardew Valley is just you know Stardew Valley is just a great game, and in comparison to the farming aspects in The Sims, it's just so detailed. But to be perfectly honest, like The Sims is just like the pack division. It feels greedy, to like have the full farming and slash ranching, um, like experience, and to have the full animal experience. You have to own cats and dogs. You have to own Cottage Living. You have to own My First Pet stuff, and now Horse Ranch. And it it just doesn't feel right, like those are 4 packs, and 2 of those packs, mind you, cost $40. 3 of those packs cost $40. I'm sorry, because this next one is gonna cost $40. That's right. Yeah. So, on top of everything that you were getting here, you're spending $120 plus that stuff pack, which is like what, $10. Yeah, no, that's bullshit. Obviously, nobody's gonna. You gotta be out of your fucking skull to think you should be able to pay $180. That's $180 that can go to anything else. It can buy new clothes, it can buy food, it can buy, it can pay for bills, it can help pay for bills even. It can, do a lot of things. It can go to paying gas because I mean, gas is like fucking nutty right now. Um, $5 a gallon, like, you gotta be fucked up. Um, you got me fucked up if you think like that's normal. And like you want to pay for a Sims 4 expansion pack. I mean, you may as well just be taking that $120 and just throwing it off a bridge. Just just wasting it. It's $120 you'll never get back. You know, I mean, it's just like it feels like a waste. And in my opinion, it's really greedy. It's really really greedy. Um, Now I understand as well. Like, your sentiment could be, or your stance on my opinion could be that, oh well, or your counter argument could be that, oh well, paying $40 for a pack may not be so bad because it took them, we found out in like what, late June. So like, maybe a few weeks ago. They were probably working on it since May, and then it got leaked in June, and then it's now coming out in late July. That's a lot of time to be working on an expansion pack, and that's a lot of time for animators, producers. It's like a lot of hours to be putting into the game, and doing the art and all the other stuff, and especially on top of working on the 2 kit packs that are going to be coming out soon in 2024. um you know like, you know why would so it's understandable that they would that they would charge $40 for this pack. Well, I understand that they have people that they need to pay. They have, you know people that they need to feed. But I mean, here's the thing: this is EA. All right. This is EA, and they are greedy as all hell. How many people do you think have paid for, it's for these expansion packs, and pay for them on a daily, you know? I mean, it's just like, I mean, use your head here. It's it's got to be a lot of money. I mean, but but the fact of the matter is that they don't. It feels like dirty money, you know. Like, we're kind of giving them our money, and they're just kind of like, for lack of a better way, just selling us shit. Cheaply produced shit, you know? Um talking about the game here like right now, strictly in terms of gameplay, there's nothing like, you know, like I like you pick up any other game, like yesterday I like the other day I played Project Zomboid, and that game has so like it sent my head spinning, and I played it earlier today as well. Um and it just felt crazy just how much content they stuffed into that game. Like there's so much realism. It's so like it's got so much content. And on top of that, we got other games as well, like Life by You and Paralives coming out soon. I mean, obviously, I think Paralives is going to take a little bit longer. I mean, it's an indie title. I mean, I don't really expect it to, like, be out, tomorrow on the hour. You know, I think that, like, but, I've never played a game like The Sims 4 in particular, where the game just felt like from the jump like really incomplete. Like, like there were things missing. Um and you know, it, it shows in their work ethic how much they really don't care about the game. And I mean it shows like a lot in how much they don't really care about the game, because the fact of the matter is that the one thing that carries the game, and aside from expansion packs, are mods. I mean, I'm being honest. You know, like the mods really do make this game, and this is really the only reason why I play this game, anyways, is because I like the mods for this game. They it makes the game feel more in depth, and just even more fun to play when you're playing it modded. You know, and I mean that goes for every game, but the fact of the matter is that when you play a game that's modded, right? Like for example, you're playing Fallout, and Fallout 3 is my favorite game to play modded because there's so many mods that you can download for the game. Um and I know people are gonna say, "Oh, well, why not Fallout New Vegas?" Like that's also one of my favorite games to play modded, but it's not my like favorite Fallout game. But um, that aside, you know, like whenever you play a game modded, right? It's more so to like give you a new experience when you play the game. You know, it sometimes like, but the fact that like the game lags a lot and stuff like that makes me feel like this is like, like I have to play modded. There's no other choice. I had to only play modded Sims 4, and you know I've never felt that way before with any of the other Sims games. I've never had to, like, I could pick up the Sims 3 right now and I can play it vanilla and still have a good time, or I could go back to playing The Sims 2, which I won't, and play that vanilla and still have an even better time. I'm just saying, um, you know, this game just feels a little bit bland without mods. It's lacking life. It's lacking the personality that the Sims have, and on top of that, it's lacking the lore, which is bringing me to my next thing, which is the Katrina lore, the Katrina Caliente lore that I picked up on because there's a reason why I picked up on it. So I'm making a Sims 4 save file, which is why I'm building right now. Um, and it's gonna combine the Sims 1, the Sims 3, and the Sims 2, and Sims 4 in one neat type package. In terms of lore, in terms of characters, in terms of everything. Relationships. There's cross-world relationships. There's you know, interesting family drama that I'm you know, scripting and stuff like that. And I gotta say, I'm having so much fun just being able to build my own shit. I mean, not a lot of the stuff is built. Like these three houses I built, but I'm like so far. And by the way, I'm not doing just Newcrest. Like there's, I'm rebuilding Willow Creek and um I rebuilt Willow Creek and Strangerville and all other stuff, and it's gonna require all the expansion packs. But I mean, again, I just said you can pirate them. If you really need to play them, if you really want to play this, you can just pirate it, and if you don't have expansion packs. But um, like I'm having so much fun just making all these houses and stuff like that and making the lore. And it makes me wonder really what were they thinking when they were talking about the lore, because I mean the Sims 4, in comparison to the Sims 3, in comparison to the Sims 2, and even in comparison to The Sims 1, there is no lore in The Sims 4. There is nil in terms of, it may as well be the equivalent to the Sahara fucking desert in terms of content and, um, you know, uh, lore. No, none. There's nothing here. Um, and it's a shame because they could have made something interesting. We could have, I mean, I'm one to kind of like support the whole AU kind of thing, simply because it kind of would be a fresh start for the Sims. um but what I don't like is the fact that they just decided to push out this game and not make any more new memorable characters, which is kind of like what I'm doing. You can, and especially Katrina, like Katrina, I really did not know how to feel about Katrina. So when I add her in here, I'm gonna make it kind of a little bit more interesting, for lack of a better word, or for lack of a better way of putting it. Because I know for a fact that Katrina is not important, or well, like a great character, and a lot of people were like, oh well, what happened to Nihat? And um I was wondering the same thing, because as a avid Sims 2 player, someone who whose main game was to play the Sims 2, I was wondering the same exact thing. And you know um being well versed in Sims lore, that was pretty much a shocker to me. That was very much a shocker when I learned that she hadn't come, that she wasn't coming back. Um so yeah, there's that. Um but Katrina, I feel like I could, like, I mean, and I'm gonna also go on and talk about the refresh as well, because why not? I might as well just tackle that while I'm at it. You know, um, like when the Townie refresh happened, when they announced that, oh yeah, the Lotharios are going to finally get that Townie refresh. I was excited. I mean, I was kind of looking forward to that. And because like their original designs were so bad, but I think that this one takes a cake for like the most ugliest fucking Sims that I've ever seen. Like they are fucking hideous. I mean, granted, now they're not that bad. They're not unbearably ugly, but like they are pretty bad. You know, um, like Don looks like he's sleepy, and I don't know, like it feels like they just like kind of ruined it. Like I don't know, like they just kind of like it just isn't the same. Those aren't that's not the Don Lothario that I remember. So I can't wait to kind of like give them a refresh in my thing because I'm gonna put them in Newcrest, um, and stuff, and just like completely redo them. And you know, my whole thing is that like, you know, you can't like say, "Oh, hey, Sims lore time," and not give us any lore. You know what I mean? Like we can't have lore in The Sims if there is no lore. You're giving us here a whole new universe to work on. And you know, like you couldn't do anything creative with it. I mean, if in my opinion, The Sims is as creative as it gets, I mean, next to like I guess like a Minecraft and like I guess other life sim games like Stardew Valley and stuff like that. You know, like it's kind of hard to mess up. I mean, yeah, sure, perfecting it is difficult, but like, you know, like, making a game that's just like, doesn't really have much story or lore is just really difficult. Like, when I was playing The Sims, when I first started playing The Sims 2, like right out of high school, right? Because, I just got out of high school and, I didn't really, I was just kind of home, waiting for my graduation and stuff like that, to happen because I graduated early. Um, I was, when I picked up The Sims 2 in my, like a thrift store, I was not expecting there to be so much lore and story that I had no idea happened. Um, and then I watch a few videos and it's like like, for lack of a better way of putting it, it's like I, got like red pilled. Um, and, you know, I mean, this was before, I mean, I also bought The Sims, um, for at this time as well, but I didn't really play it that much because my computer couldn't handle it. I keep in mind I was running a Windows 7, so bear with me. Um, anyways, so um, you know, like, but when I really learned how much lore there really was, I was impressed. I was really impressed with, you know, the stories, the writing, and everything. The amount of detail that they had thought out um in their characters is amazing, especially in strictly in speaking in terms of The Sims 2. And The Sims 3 is no different because The Sims 3 is in my opinion, it's my favorite game. Um, the my favorite Sims game, but nothing will ever beat The Sims 1. Anyways, enough for reminiscing about the good games. Um, my but I didn't like I didn't play games like Fallout, like Elden Elden Outer Scroll. I'm sorry, I almost said Elden Ring, and I was like, nope, wrong E. Um, I played game like Elder Scrolls, and I played a little bit of Elden Ring as well. I'm not very good at it, but um, you know, you play those games, and you play them, over and over and over and over again, and there's lore that you probably haven't seen yet. Like the lore goes so far deep that it's things that you haven't thought about or you haven't noticed or things you haven't done in your last playthrough, you know? Um and you know, it's just kind of, and then you like, you kind of like pick up look at the Sims 4, and it's like, well, like why can't we get lore like that in the Sims 4, I mean, how far do we have to fall in terms of content for the Sims? I mean, when did when did EA look at themselves and just say, why are we setting our standards so high? You know, that just feels to me like, you know, like I feel like that's what they really did. Like they looked at themselves and said, like, why are we setting our standards so high? And began to drop their standards following the release of The Sims 4 because, it, it's just, it's really disappointing that they, chose to do that. Um, and, you know, it's just really disappointing to have a game and have there not be war and stuff like that. Just no. I mean, yeah, there's diverse characters, but there's no diverse personalities. Um, there's nothing that kind of like you know separates one sim from being different from the other, and that's what's kind of disappointing about The Sims 4. But last topic I want to discuss is Project Rene, the future. Um so Project Rene so far, I'm not gonna. I really don't have that high of hopes set for it right now because obviously the game's in early development. You don't know, they're gonna change a lot of things from the animation to the art style to everything. Um, but I do have my concerns with that as well. And to me, it feels like they're trying to do what other Sims like games are trying to do. We got Life by You on the horizon. It's coming. It's in early access this September. Like, literally the month after my birthday. August. It's going to be out, and you know, when you look that far, or when you look at that far, it's not. It's gonna come by just like that. It's gonna come by quick. September is gonna be here, like pretty much like in the blink of an eye. Um, And the fact of the matter is that, you know, I don't think EA is prepared. You know, I don't think that they are prepared. I didn't think that they were expecting, you know, competition to be so close, and they were preparing their battleships. You know, um, full on red alert. Kind of is them pretty much, and you know, um, I think that it's gonna be good that they have competition, but um, the f- but I don't know if they're going to learn anything. I mean, they're probably, the fact of the matter is that The Sims 4 is still gonna be around in September, and The Sims people are gonna start playing, Life by You once it comes out. I mean, they don't have much reason not to. I mean, the fact of the matter is that, it's right around the corner. Like, I mean, it's right there. And you know it's gonna be a prime time for, people to, like, kind of like, go and try something new. And once they discover all the gameplay options that I'm betting Life by You is gonna have, because we saw a whole bunch of things that Life by You had, it's gonna be really, really overwhelming for EA. Especially because, they're gonna have to work even harder to try and um get some of their player base back. Um and once Paralives comes out, it's, gonna be, it's gonna, like, kind of like separate people. It's gonna be like the console wars. Which one are you? Are you the Xbox player, or are you the PS3 player, or are you just a Nintendo player? Or you could be the PC player, or whatever. And I say that fourth option because one of the Sims modders named Arnie, I don't know if you guys know him, but he is actually producing his own game, his own, what I'm guessing is a Sims like game. And um I gotta say, it looks pretty good, you know? Um but um in conclusion, these are my grievances, my concerns about the Sims so far. I feel like their I feel like their grubbiness is going to be their own downfall. And with games like Life by You just right around the corner, you know maybe giving the player horses isn't the right idea for them. And with so many players being fed up with the game as it is, it's just way too late. Horses are not going to bring back people, and get them to play The Sims. Um, that is just a cold hard fact. Nobody is gonna want horses when there are glaring issues with the game. And that is my opinion on it. That's where I stand. Those are my 2 cents. And I felt like I needed to share my thoughts, because, you know, it's relevant to the topic right now. And, these things probably should be said before EA decides to make another mistake, because I mean, obviously, there are still going to be people who support the pack, regardless. There are always going to be those EA supporters, those, um, for lack of a better way to put it, those EA dick writers that are going to be like, um, oh, well, this pack is actually really good, but, if you really don't want to buy the pack, if you don't like the Sims or the way how it's going, well, then we don't need you here. Bye bye. Kind of deal. Um, And I'm kind of expecting comments like those to pop up anytime soon, because I mean, it's inevitable. It's the Sims community, and I'm making you know a Sims video, talking trash about the Sims 4. And you know I mean, I pretty much got you know a lot of concerns. Some of them not really all that nice, but whatever. um I really just don't care. And you know it's that same mindset that EA applies, is that if they just don't care sometimes. um and yeah, it is just, yeah, really disappointing. But there's not really much we can do about it, because we're not business executives. We're not, you know, working for EA. We're just people who play the game, and or maybe you're someone who doesn't play the game. Maybe you're someone who watches my Stardew Valley content, or someone who watched the 2 Resident Evil videos that I put out, and or maybe you're just someone random. Who knows? I really don't know. But you know, regardless, the more these words spread, the better, because there's a chance that maybe someone on the Sims team might look at this, and someone really important on the Sims team might see this, and realize, wait, what are, what are we doing? Like, this is corporate greed. We can't be doing this. This isn't morally right. People got things that they need to do. They got lives they need to live. Um and that's kind of like where I stand on it. It just does not feel right to me. Just doesn't. But who really cares about my opinion? Again, you should, again, take my opinion with a grain of salt. It is not, you know, it is not definitively true. It's just an opinion, kind of deal. And if you disagree with it, then politely disagree with me. And um, then you can. I really don't care. Um, and yeah. Um, I feel like this roof is gonna get even more shorter, but whatever. This is the first time I'm actually commenting on gameplay. But yeah. Uh, Anyways, I think this is gonna be it for now. This video is already like, what, 48 minutes. Yeah, so might as well end it here. Anyways, I've said all I've wanted to say, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.